Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Math Mondays. I'm Kayla Barnes, Math Coordinator for Kansas City Public Schools, and the segment that follows is kindergarten through second grade math. Hi friends, how are you doing today? This morning we are going to build on our knowledge that we started working on last week in regards to place value. So this week we are going to have a very focused lesson that stems from place value and goes into comparing numbers. So our objective today is I can determine 1 more, 1 less, 10 more, and 10 less than any number. So by the end of this lesson today, you should be able to think of any number and be able to tell me what is 10 more than that number, what is 10 less than that number, what is 1 more than that number, and what is 1 less than that number. Our tools today, we're going to be working with 2 different tools, base 10 blocks, which we started working with last week, and today we will also be using a hundreds chart in order to see some patterns in our observations. As you're working with me today, the only thing that you need is a piece of paper and something to write with, and then it's always important to have something near you that you can that you can utilize to help you count with. So I would recommend those 3 things. Take a moment now and let's get ready to learn. All right, so our first problem today, we're just going to pause here and I'm going to show you everything that is on the screen in front of you. That way, as we get working, you don't have any questions about what I'm grabbing or the format in which I'm presenting. So over here on the right in the blue section, you'll see my tools for today. I told you we'd be using a hundreds chart, so there's a hundreds chart. And we'll also be using base 10 blocks. So here's a tens rod, and here's a ones square in this case. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to talk about the number that you see on your screen in the gray box. And the first number that we're going to start with today is the number 37. Okay? So as we're determining more and less than a number, the first thing I'd like us to do on this problem is model 37 using base 10 blocks. Do you remember how to do that? Here's a quick review. So as we look at the number, we think 30 and 7. So I'm just going to write that down. So I said 30 and 7. That makes 37, right? So remember that when we're talking about the number 30, that's the number of ones is that we will see in that number. But how do we take base 10 blocks and model 30 plus 7? So in order to model 7's easy, right? We're just going to take 7 ones squares in this case, and we're just going to put them here. So there's 4, 5, 6, and 7. Great. Now I don't want to drag 30 individual blocks underneath the number 30. What's a different way I can model 30 using the base 10 blocks we have on hand? That's right. Remember that 1 rod equals 10. How many tens is in the number 30? Well, here's 10. Let's add another one and see if you can count by tens here until we get to 30. So here's 10, 20, and 30. Great job. So the number 37 is made up of 3 tens and 7 ones. And we've modeled it below using the base 10 blocks. Now what we have to do is calculate 1 more, 1 less, 10 more, and 10 less. So we're going to take that one step at a time. And on the left side of your screen here, you're going to see that I'm starting with 1 more than 37. Using our base 10 blocks, how can you model 1 more than 37? What would you add? A rod or a unit square? That's right. Let's use a unit square. So if we add 1 more to 37, add 1, what do we get? Well, 30 plus 7 we know is 37. Count on 37 one more time and we get 38. Good job. So I'm going to erase this part because now we need to talk about 10 more than 37. So I'll fix this block here and put it back. And now let's talk about 10 more than 37. So we added a 1's unit square to get 1 more than. Let's add a 10's rod to get 10 more than. So now we have 30 plus 7 plus 10 gets us to 10 more than 37. Well, what's 30 plus 10? That's right, you know 3 plus 1 equals 4. So 30, 3 10s, plus 10, 1 10, equals 4 10s, or 40. Good job. So we have 40, and then we have to add the 7 1s. That gets us 47. Great job. Now we have to talk about 1 less than. So we need to erase drawings first and put materials back that we don't need. When we talk about less than, are we adding or subtracting? Which one? That's right. When we talk about a number being less than, we're typically subtracting. So when we talk about 1 less, we're going to take 1 away from 37. That means down here with the unit squares, I'm going to take 1, I'm just going to put it off to the side, that way I know I've taken it away. We started with 37, and if you take 1 more away, that gets us how many? Good job, that gets us 36. And last but not least, the last thing we have to do, let's put this block back so that we get 37. Let's erase the minus 1. Now we have to calculate 10 less than. So when we were calculating 1 less, we took 1 unit square away. Now we're calculating 10 less. So what are we going to take away? That's right, let's take away 1 10's rod, or 1 10, because we know that 1 10 is equal to 10 1s. Now we have 30 plus 7, and we took away 10. What is the answer to this problem? 10 less than 37 is equal to what number? Well, 30 minus 10 is 20, plus 7 is 27. You did a great job on that problem. I know there were a lot of steps. Now we're going to move on to the second problem, where we're going to use a hundreds chart to see if we can draw some patterns and how we can do this quicker. So let's talk about the second problem. The second number we have is 72, and we have to calculate 1 more than, 10 more than, 1 less than, and 10 less than 72. And this time I'm going to use a hundreds chart. So I'm going to make it a little bigger so that it's easier for us to use. There. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do when I utilize my hundreds chart is I want to highlight the spot or the square where the number that we start with is. So I'm going to take my yellow highlighter here, and on the hundreds chart I'm going to find 72. And I'm looking down to where I see 70s, and then I'm going over 1, 2, and right there is number 72. Now, when we're calculating one more than, let's back up actually. Let's start back. Can you tell me how many tens and ones is in this number? Because we have to start there in order for this to make it easy for us. So when we model 72, you can build it with your base 10 blocks. You're going to find that you have 7 tens and 2 ones. Remember, the number on the left of a 2-digit number will always be the tens, and the number on the right will always be the ones. So we've highlighted 72 on our hundreds chart. Now we can talk about 1 more than, 10 more than, 1 less than, and 10 less than. So when we're talking about 1 more than, we need to take 72 and add 1 to it. On the hundreds chart, can you tell which direction I should move? Should I move to the right? Should I move to the left? Should I move up, or should I move down? Which direction will give us 1 more than 72? That's right, we know that 1 more than 72 is 73. And I can find that on my hundreds chart by moving 1 spot to the right. Now, if we're going to talk about 1 less than, we're going to skip 10 more for right now. We're going to talk about 1 less than 72. Take 1 away from 72 and you get 70. Let me undo that, change my marker. And you get 71. Now look at our hundreds chart. Which direction do we have to move in order to get to 71? To the left, up, down, or to the right? Well, we already had 73 to the right, so we know that 71 is going to be on the left. Great job. There's 2 more for us to do. Let's go up to 10 more than 72. So if you think really hard and add 10 to 72, you can do 72 plus 10, or we do know that 70 is 7 tens, and then 1 10. How many tens do you get? That's right, you get 8 tens. So if we take 70 plus 10, we get 82. Now look at your hundreds chart. Where do you see 82? Above or below 72? That's right, you see it below. Now the last step is to calculate 10 less than 72. That's your job today and this week. And I want you to keep practicing as hard as you can. And I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving and a great fall break. And I will see you after. It was my pleasure having you in class today. See you next week.